Was ist los? It's your German boy, and welcome back to another part of Lucy, the eternity she wished for. Now, last time we made a lot of progress with her. Started to get to know each other a little more, opened up to each other. And now, in the last part, we just asked the toughest question we possibly could have. Gonna try and figure out why they ditched her like she did. Where we last left off, she was about to answer us, so let's just get into this, boys.
いつからかみんなルーシーに笑いかけなくなりました。みんなルーシーを褒めてくれなくなりました。みんなルーシーのメインシステムを起動してくれなくなりました。予備電力で時間が経つのだけは感知できました。何もできないまま、ただ時間だけが過ぎていく感覚だけを感じ、永遠のように感じられる日々が続きました。そしてある日、
Lucy goes silent once more. Then one day, she found herself left in the dust, but she probably wanted to say. Maybe they didn't like something about her, or they found a significant flaw within her design. But I don't like the fact that they had just tossed her aside after giving her so much love and attention. Aren't they being too inconsiderate? A small rage boils inside me, directed at those cruel researchers with no sense of responsibility. When I regain my senses after a few seconds, I become surprised at how angry I was. What was I thinking? They were just throwing away a failed experiment. The object on my back is nothing more than an impressive fake. She's not real. She's not a living creature. It's only natural that useless machinery is thrown away. I feel like my truck would take certain umbrage to that statement, but I digress. There's no need for me to be so angry.
マスター、また脈拍が上がっています。どうかしましたか？
It's nothing. And stop measuring that all the time.
でも自動で体温を測るようプログラムされています。
Then it's an order. I order you not to measure anything from now on.
命令ですか？それでは仕方ありませんね。
There's another silence, but this time not an unpleasant one.
ですからマスターにはとても感謝しています。
I just can't seem to figure out this robot's train of thought. Was?
捨てられてどのくらいの時が流れたのかわかりません。でもルーシーにとっては永遠にも等しい時間でした。周りは暗闇で人の気配など全くなくて、とても暗くてとても静かで、とてもそんな中マスターの声が聞こえました。
I don't remember talking to you like that.
それでもルーシーにとってはまるで天使のささやきのようでした。何もない暗闇の中に初めて一筋の光が差したのです。ルーシーに何 何度も何度も声をかけてくれました。
You're overreacting. She's definitely going overboard with this. I just happened to notice her while casually passing by.
マスターに気づいてもらえるよう必死でした。残りの力を振り絞って。そしたら今まで動かなかった腕が動いたのです。
There were only a few words which didn't contain any significant meaning, and it was only on a moment's whim that I'd taken her home. But I was surprised those simple actions were such a big help to the robot.
ルーシーに手を差し伸べてくれたこと、本当に感謝しています。
Being able to say the most embarrassing things without hesitation. I guess that's one of the advantages of being a robot. I can feel my face beginning to flush. I quickly duck in order to hide my embarrassment. Shut up! I'm gonna make you pay for what you're worth, so you better be ready for it.
はい、マスター。覚悟しておきます。
What's so funny? Why do you keep laughing like that? It's creeping me out.
わかりません。さっきから笑いが自然とこみ上げてくるんです。故障みたいです。どうしましょう。
Lucy quietly rests her cheeks against my shoulder. The sensation of her soft skin causes me to flinch. She feels very much different compared to this morning. It feels as if I'm carrying a real person on my back instead of a robot. I start to wonder what could be causing this difference in perception. Was it just a placebo effect? Or had something really changed since the morning? If something really did change, was it me? Or the robot? I continue to ponder over the question on the way home. I never managed to come up with an answer. And we have this again. What is this, like the 5th time we've come across this? October 13th. Wait, is this the next day, or... Okay, we're back. I think. I unlock the front door and enter the house. Unlike usual, I could sense someone's presence inside. I hear a couple voices coming from the television inside the living room. My father appears to have returned home early. It makes me feel uneasy. I effortlessly remove my shoes using only my feet. Come to think of it, I was always home alone. It's been this way ever since I'd grown old enough to take care of myself. Before that, we used to have a housekeeper watching over the place. However, that was only until I began middle school. From then on, I was always by myself. I would eat breakfast alone. I would eat dinner alone. The cycle would repeat endlessly. I don't even remember the last time all of us ate dinner together as a family. There's no such thing as a home-cooked meal in this household. I've eaten so many different kinds of instant foods in my life that I've come to memorize every product of every brand. My father puts his work before family, and my new mother follows my father everywhere to support him while practically ignoring me. That is my family. At this point, it feels out of place to see someone actually at home. My father's on the couch watching television. What kind of voice are we gonna give this guy? No, let's just wing it. You're back. He doesn't even turn around to face me. It implies that he's not in a good mood. Yes, father. You're very late. I check the time. It wasn't actually that late. There are times when I'd be back much later. I wonder if this man even knows how old I am. Where have you been wandering around for so long? Don't you know that you'll be in college soon? I don't bother replying, says the guy who never paid any attention to me. I think to myself, I don't get along too well with my father. Our relationship compares badly with other families. But that is to be expected. We've never spent much quality time together. Going to the zoo, playing soccer together. I don't have any of those fond memories that other kids my age probably have. My earliest memories of my father's stern face. So it would be even more bizarre if we actually got along. As I stand in silence, the old man launches his next attack. Are you not listening to me? He still doesn't bother looking at me. I've gotten used to minding my own business. If we keep to our own devices, to solve any conflicts within a family, you would normally need to sit down together and talk about it. But my father doesn't think there's any need for that. He thinks everything is fine the way it is. It'd be really painful to talk face to face with that man, though. I just stopped by somewhere on the way home. Yeah, I'll just deal with our usual exchange. As long as I don't make him angry, that's good enough for me. I just need to maintain the peace between us. It's always been this way. As usual, I try my best to not rock the boat. I don't know what you kids are up to these days, but remember that students like you should be studying. I'm saying this for your sake. So stop hanging around with those brats who only care about having fun. You can't afford to lose sight of your main goal. Stay focused. I'll be going to my room now. With that said, I try to make my escape. Our conversation would usually end about here. But Lucy, who had been silent all this time, decides to whisper something into my ear.
失礼ですが、マスター？あの方はマスターのお父様ですか？
I hesitate whether I should tell her or not. In the end, I quietly whisper back, Yeah. Lucy taps my shoulders.
マスター、もう下ろしてください。
Oh boy, she fin about to meet the parents. We'll see how this goes. I have no choice but to grant her wish. Maybe Lucy's voice had caught on by shit. Because my father finally turned to face me. He's wearing a bewildered look. Who's your guest? With a wide smile, Lucy grabs onto the edges of her skirt. Then she performs a flawless curtsy that would make a princess envious.
はじめまして、お父様。多目的用途として作られたアンドロイド、ルーシー・バレンタインと申します。
Flawless
今
introduction.
日からこちらのお世話になることになりましたので、何卒よろしくお願いいたします。
What? It's just a robot. His attitude changes completely. The sharpness in his voice penetrates every part of my body. But Lucy doesn't seem to notice. Or rather, she's pretending not to. She continues with a smile.
掃除、洗濯、料理、何でもお任せください。ルーシーは一般家庭における多くの家事をプロ並みにこなすことができます。
Confident kleiner Mädchen. I'm sorry, but there's nothing we need from a robot in this family. I suggest that you go look for somewhere else to stay.
申し訳ございませんが、お父様。
Oh
ルー
boy.
シーにできることは数えきれないくらいありますよ。
Oh boy. Uh-oh. This is not looking good. My sentiments exactly. Meanwhile, Lucy continues to ramble on, completely oblivious to what is about to happen.
先ほど申し上げた以外にも、お父様が心配なさっている息子さんのための教育も可能です。
Way to drop the bombshell, girl. Oh boy. I'm nervous as shit.
もちろん、素晴らしい教師の教育法を厳選して参考にしています。
She's talking as if she's about to become my personal tutor.
それ以外にも優秀な機能はたくさんあります。お裁縫や不自由のない暮らしのための家政婦の仕事など。
Just where did you get this piece of junk? Get it out of my sight! His angry outburst is as sudden as it is intense. It catches Lucy off guard. She stumbles backwards in alarm. No surprises here. I saw this coming from a mile away. It's a present from a friend. I lie instinctively. If I honestly tell him that I'd found her in the trash, he'll definitely force me to take her back there. I'll just say that I got her from Dr. Gears. My father knows his manners. There's no way he'll make me throw away a present. Ha! Really? You haven't stopped being a troublemaker since you were little. What have I always told you? Robots are ruining society. Did you forget about all of that? My father's always been like this. Robots are becoming increasingly more common. They're gradually making their way into our daily lives. But my parents consider them as intruders infiltrating human society. They're unable to catch up with shifts in technology, whilst they refuse to let go of their traditional ways. They simply refuse to coexist with robots. Thanks to that, I grew up hearing nothing but bad things about robots. But what's wrong with keeping one around the house? What's wrong, you ask? I've read that most families own androids nowadays. Why can't we just keep one around for convenience? I've clearly just added fuel to the fire. Convenience? Think about the type of people that care about convenience. Convenience makes us lazy. And when we're lazy, our minds don't work properly. Convenience makes our minds weak. It's obvious how they'll live the rest of their lives. Without realizing they're hopelessly lazy, they'll just end up living a meaningless existence. I've already lost count of how many times I'd heard this from him. Today's lecture is variant B. It goes from A to Z, by the way. I'm so sick of this. I just want to wrap up this conversation so I can leave as soon as possible. Anyway, I've accepted it already, so we should keep it. I'm the one who's going to be using it, so why do you care? And who's the one going to be paying for the electricity? Who taught you to be so selfish? I'm starting to reach my limit. Come on. I want to leave. Then I'll pay for it. I can get a part-time job. A job? You're gonna get a job? You're gonna work when you should be studying? Yes. Do you even realize how important this phase in your life is? These years in high school could decide the rest of your future. With whose permission are you planning to work? Kids like you should be studying! Just keep your mouth shut and study! Well, I'll pay you back when I grow up, so just leave me alone, damn it! I scream at the top of my lungs. His eyes widen in shock. That was to be expected. I've never raised my voice in front of my parents before. You can't do this. You can't do that. Then just what the fuck do you expect me to do? I'm so furious that I can almost feel steam rising from my head. At the same time, my father's eyes quickly narrow and begin to burn with rage. Time slows down, and I'm left struggling to process what had just happened. I stand in place, holding my sore cheeks as I stare at my father in shock. Not knowing what to do, Lucy's fidgeting non-stop. Just where did you learn to be so stubborn? I never raised you this way! Shocked and humiliated, I can no longer control my fiery soul. I turn around and stomp off towards my room. I pull Lucy along with me.
Master?
Komm schön, wir ausgehen! Hesitating, Lucy eventually makes a short bow to my father and trails along. Behind me, I hear my father yelling, but I shut it all out as my blind rage is nearly overpowering. Well, that could have gone smoother. Entering my room, I lock the door behind me. I hear my father yelling as he continues banging on my door for a while. I'm not sure how many minutes have gone by. Feels like an eternity. Even if I block my ears, I can still sense the floor shaking. I curl up my body and wait for the moment to pass. The clock slowly ticks away. After a long while, I uncover my ears. The noises have stopped, and I finally begin to relax. My head eventually clears up. I realize what I've done. I finally lost control. I yelled at my father for the first time in my life. It's been a while since the last time I was hit by my father. Wait, last time? You mean this has happened before? It was like the rupturing of a dam after so much pressure and strain. Thinking back, it's strange that we've never had any direct confrontations like this one. Our relationship was like an unstable bomb, but I'd always managed to prevent it from going off. But today was different. Well, it was bound to happen sooner or later. I tried to slow down my breathing.
Master?
Lucy calls out to me cautiously. What is it?
大丈夫ですか?
I wonder what she means by alright. Nothing's alright. Nothing is fine. I'm running and I'm crying. But I know what she meant. So I give a small nod anyway. With a wet handkerchief from who knows where, Lucy wipes down my sweaty forehead. The fruity smell of her perfume is surprisingly calming.
気に障ったら申し訳ございませんが、マスター。
What is it?
お父様にあんな言い方は良くないと思います。
My face quickly becomes contorted with anger. What the fuck? Are you also telling me I'm a bad person? Lucy shakes her head.
悪いとは言っていません。でも、お父様と話すときは、もう少し優しく言った方がいいと思います。家族ではないですか。きっと心の中では傷ついていると思いますよ。
Oh, you don't think that I'm bad, huh? When you're the one telling me that it's my fault entirely. I was the one hurt, and he was the one who hurt me. My head is aching, so just drop it and leave it alone. Lucy, who'd been squirming about, goes completely still. Both her eyes suddenly lose their color. After a while, she springs back to life.
しかしマスター、メモリーチップに記録された通常の家庭問題を検索してみた結果、家庭不和を招くと思われる会話類型の中に、マスターとお父様の間に起こったパターンと似た過程が多数検出されました。
What are you talking about?
論理的に考えると、マスターの行動は二次問題を招く可能性があります。
Great mash ice.
この問題を解決するためには、まずはマスターが過ちを認め、お父様に謝罪を。
Shut up! Your explanations don't even make sense, and you're calling it logical. You wouldn't understand a thing anyway?
はい。ルーシーが見たのは何かと言いますと？
What can you possibly tell from watching us for just 5 minutes? What did you exactly find out about us? How can you say something so ignorant without knowing anything about the past 18 fucking years we've spent together? The android tilts its head, looking confused. Answer this. How many minutes are there in a day?
1440分です。
How many in a year?
52万5600分です。
Then what about 18 years?
946万800分です。
As expected from a robot, her calculations are quick and accurate. That's right. Out of the 9,460,800 minutes I've spent with my father, you've seen only 5. That's less than 0.0001%. An insignificant amount. It's my fault that you've had to witness something like this. But that man is always finding the smallest excuses to teach me things that only he himself believes. Think of it as throwing out an entire pan of pizza because of a single burnt piece of pepperoni. Where's the logic in that? Lucy's eyes lose their focus. It's just like before. Could she be looking up something inside her memory chip again? Or maybe she's doing a search online. She returns after a moment.
申し訳ございません、マスター。先ほどおっしゃった意図をルーシーは完璧に理解できませんでした。
I figured as much. Cause and effect. The universe operates on this principle. If a father neglects his son, then of course the son would neglect his father in return. Who's at bigger fault here?
でもマスター、
Was?
おっしゃったピザは一切れのペパロニを交換すれば完璧なピザになると思います。
How much longer can I argue with this smiling, carefree robot? I lie down on my bed while hugging my throbbing head. Then I let out one of my trademark phrases. Ooh. Gotta drop the bomb in front of her, don't you? Yeah, we're saving this for next time. I don't know how much more of this one I can take, boys. So, till next time, this has been the German Idol God. Auf Wiedersehen.